After Fortnite OG last year, Epic saw that paycheck and that player count and said, yeah, we gotta do this again. Most people probably expected it to be Chapter 1 once again, up until one specific day I think we all know about. The leak of the roadmap revealed that this new OG season would actually be Chapter 2, which got me and many others excited. It seemed like it would be Seasons 1, 2, and 3, which excited me even more. I ended up making a whole video on why I was worried about Chapter 2's return, basically because I felt like it would not be faithful enough to the whole chapter by putting Seasons 4 through 8 on a chopping block. Now, I mean, we are getting Season 3, so it should be fine, right?
I'm retiring. For good.
What happened? Turns out it would be practically only Season 2, and the rest of Chapter 2 besides a bit of 3 was cut. Now, I have my doubts, but after seeing the whole season play out, I think I can confidently say my opinion has somewhat changed. Now before you say anything, yes, I know this was supposed to be a remix on Chapter 2. That does not mean they had to cut out about 70% of the chapter. Keep in mind this is just my opinion, I still thoroughly enjoyed this season. I think if they can go over about half of Chapter 1, I'm sure they can at least do more than basically one season for Chapter 2. Obviously, Chapter 1 appeals to a broader audience, but that doesn't change my opinion that they should have represented the later seasons. Maybe besides a bit of Primal, but you get the idea. The map seemed to be one of the biggest complaints for most people with this season, especially people who never played Chapter 2. This map is miles better than Chapter 1's, and you can quote me on that. They chose the Chapter 2 Season 2 version obviously, but with the season being a remix, some of the POIs were rebranded. The agency was rebranded and turned into the Dog Pound. It's literally exactly the same as the agency, just with a slight change in color. I didn't experience the original agency much, but I really liked this POI. The Grotto and the Shark both came back in week 2 and 3, along with Catty Corner for the scrap of Season 3 content we did get. Also, before anyone says, this isn't my OG map, how could they change my agency? It just doesn't hit the same.
Really?
The POIs are literally exactly the same as they were back then, with a slight color change. It's corny. Also, of course it doesn't hit the same. Chapter 2 Season 2 was 4 years ago. The game has improved. Other than the main attractions, all the Chapter 2 POIs returned of course, with some of my personal favorites being Slurpy Swamp, Misty Meadows, The Rig, and Sweaty Sands. Pretty much none of the POIs were necessarily bad, just some being better than others, and the map layout is actually pretty solid. Keep in mind, yes, this map was not made for zero build, so the open space may be a problem here. One complaint that I've seen thrown around by newer players and some older players is that the map is too massive.
No taper fade.
You're under arrest.
One complaint that I've seen thrown around by newer players and some older players is that the map is too massive, and that they rarely run into anyone. While this is true, I feel like that was mainly an issue with the influx of bots. Like the original Chapter 2, this season saw a big increase in bots at the start, at least from mine and a lot of others' experience.
It's your first game, bro.
I know it's my first game, bro. Like, are we on West servers or something? Like, where the hell is everyone? They still filled half these lobbies.
Trios.
They have, like, here's what I don't get. They have the numbers, right? We know that millions of people are on right now. It's like, why not turn off, like, 50% AI? Like, why are we in 50% AI lobby? Maybe even more. Maybe like 80%. Right? Like, they're gonna fill the lobbies out.
With the influx of bots, it's not too far-fetched to say running into people is scarce. When it comes to the map being too big, I'm pretty sure someone actually did a test and concluded that each map is pretty much the same size. Chapter 5's map is pretty much the same size as Chapter 2's, so I don't think the map was too big. Overall, I actually think this map is pretty solid. Not too many issues besides lack of biomes, but that's kind of expected with it being Chapter 2 Season 2's map.
Someone cooked here.
The weapon pool this season is pretty basic, which is a given. The original assault rifle, burst, suppressed, and scoped AR returned for the AR selection. They work exactly the same as they did back then, with the burst also receiving a 3 burst round instead of the 2 burst from Season 3 onward. Wait, this burst is triple shot. I had a feeling it was a lot slower. The shotguns were very balanced, with the basic pump shotgun and attack. I don't think I need to list the rest of the weapons, considering it is a direct replica of Chapter 2 Season 2. The main and pretty much only source of movement was the grappler. While this may be a decent movement item, especially with the increased 20 uses rather than 10, in zero build there was just simply not enough movement. Despite that though, I am willing to disregard that considering there was the car glitch for half the season.
Who will be there? Do you care though? Who will be there?
This glitch was actually insane.
He was special.
Need movement? No problem. You can just fly to space with a car. To be honest though, the only way to effectively use this glitch was with a scroll wheel. If you play on controller, it is not very easy to perform this, which is definitely a problem. I can understand if you did not have a mouse on hand, which is why I think there should have been more movement, at least in Zero Build. At the beginning of the season, shields surprisingly were very scarce, and you would often enter fights with no shield. Thankfully, after about a day, they increased the amount of shields. Good job, Fortnite. The Boogie Bomb was in the game all season, which may be a little pain in Zero Build, but oftentimes it was fine.
Release me!
The original Mythics from Chapter 2 returned, with a few remixed for this season. Midas's drum gun came back from the agency, now Snoop Dogg's. It has the exact same stats as it did originally, and if you played back then, you would know how crazy this was.
This thing is just always confirmed to get through the build, I swear. It's just not fair. Straight up. It's just not fair. It's not fair. Just running through everyone, dude.
The Mythic AK and the Mythic Bow returned at the start, with the bow being my personal favorite.
I will love it. And I think I deserve.
In week 2, the Mythic Minigun returned, rebranded for Eminem, and is insanely fun. He's dead.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is some of the most stupid fun I have had with weapons, along with the car glitch. In week 3, the Mythic AR returned, which also has the same stats as it used to. When it comes to the Mythic Grappler, not so much. I know it's meant to be a gimmicky thing for Ice Spice, but I don't think I should be basically punished for using a grappler. The Tactical Assault Rifle also returned for the first half of the season, which is pretty cool, I guess. Watch this. Never mind. With there being no scoped weapons besides snipers in the game, it seems like they wanted to remove the scope on the Tactical Assault Rifle, which is fair, but they forgot to remove its core features as a scoped weapon. This thing had 100% accuracy with no bloom, recoil, or anything.
What?
I think it's an understatement to say this thing dominated the later half of the season.
Oh, there is nothing like New York in the spring. It's
The Mythic Charge and Shockwave Hammer came back in week 4, along with a reskinned Slurp Cannon for Juice WRLD. Other than the Mythic, the normal charge also returned as an addition to the shotgun meta. The Mythic Shockwave was really fun and really makes me wish we got more of Season 3. Now, they must have fixed the broken Tactical Assault Rifle, right? Nope, they didn't for some reason, and the weapon is still as OP as it was before. After the season eventually ended, we got a really nice live event to end off the season. Rather than remaking the chapter's end event like Chapter 1 OG, it starts off with a reference to the device and the rest as a concert to celebrate the icons of the season. And I got to say, this was a pretty good event, despite not having much story. When it comes to revisiting Chapter 2, I think this season does well, but I think it should have done better to represent the whole chapter. Don't get me wrong, I think the theming was cool, but I wish we also got to revisit some of the later seasons. I don't have really any problems with the map, and it's nice to revisit after 3 years. The map received constant weekly updates, and the changes were really refreshing. The loot pool was good, and the mythics were really fun, especially the minigun. I think there should have been a fix to the Tactical Assault Rifle, considering it completely ran the last week of the season, and I think that more movement should have been added in Zero Build. Overall, I think this season was great, while also a bit disappointing. When it comes to the theme of the season and the changes, this season does an amazing job, but when it comes to revisiting Chapter 2, it disappoints me that we basically only got Season 2. Regardless, I think this season was actually really fun, and wildly overhated by a lot of people. What did you guys think about Remix, and what do you guys currently think about Chapter 6? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, have a great rest of your day or night.